So the Kings picked up the biggest, probably the biggest import the NBL's maybe ever seen. Josh Childress, played the NBA for the Atlanta Hawks, for the Brooklyn Nets, the Pelicans, the Suns as well, who are still paying him over $7 million this year, even though he hasn't played for them for about 3 years.
That's enough for rent at Bondi. So I think he's going to be fine.
And he's also, I saw a thing on the news actually. I saw a thing on the news the other day that they just reporting news on Josh Childress having 800 pairs of shoes, which is, it's, even though it's got nothing really to do with basketball, but the Kings have tried so hard since the 90s to break that Sydney media market. And Josh Childress comes over with 800 pairs of shoes and a dog that looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and all of a sudden they're all over it. But yeah, so do you think that with the addition of Josh Childress, Jason Kidd coming back to Sydney, do you think they can make a run for that top 4 spot again?
They can make a run for it. I don't think they're going to make it. I don't think that this team, designed as it is right now, is top 4 worthy. I mean, if you look at this team on paper, and you look at last year's team on paper, you'd take last year's team, in a 3-7-5 game series, and so I feel that with the league's got a lot better, I don't think that the Kings have quite done that. I think that they're going to be around that 5th or 6th range. They can make a run for the top 4, but no, I'm a skeptical Sydney guy, but I don't think that they're going to make it. But I do like the additions that they have made. I mean, bringing in Jason Kidd is great. He's a local boy, a Sydney guy. That was one thing that the Kings are really trying to do: get a lot more locals in house. And I mean, he just needs more minutes. He needs to go to a situation that's right for him, and I feel this situation is definitely right for him. Angus Brandt's another guy who I think is really good coming back and coming from college. We saw what he did with the Boomers. He was very close to making. He was very close to making that final 12 for the World Cup as well. I mean, it was coming down to him and Jawai for that spot at times from what I've heard out of that. So I mean, having him in this team as well is huge. And he's in his first NBL season. I think we're going to see some good nights from him. We're going to see some nights where he probably goes missing because of his obviously he doesn't really have that experience in the professional game. But I mean, I like the additions that they've made. But if you see that the guys that they've lost, I don't think that they're going to be, with how better some of these other teams have gone, I don't think that they're going to be thereabouts. But I mean, to Josh Childress, on the court, he's going to be awesome to watch. Where you can see the highlights and stuff that he's going to be able to bring to this team, and he's going to bring people back in the stands in Sydney. And another thing he's going to do as well is he's the first import that the Kings have really brought in. I mean, you look at his level. I mean, that we've had NBA players play for the Sydney Kings in the past. Obviously, Sam Young last year, ACL. We've had guys like that in. Stephen Jackson, even though Jackson wasn't an NBA player before he came in. I mean, none of those guys were guys that you could put in front of the media and they could just talk, and they weren't really personalities and guys that you'd see out and just see at these Who's Who events. Josh Childress, he's a character. He's so charismatic. He's the sort of guy who, Sydney as a city, even not basketball fans, are going to fall in love with. You're going to see him on all the social pages. You're going to, he's going to be a guy who is going to be absolutely everywhere. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's the sort of guy who winds up on some like Celebrity Big Brother or something like that. Like he's going to be that big a personality in Sydney. Yeah,
well, it works out perfectly for them because I mean they get Damien Cotter in as a coach. Who's a great coach, but he doesn't have that personality. With Shane Hill, he was that personality, even though may not as big. Like I still would think that he was a decent coach, but he was very much that sort of person on that team that would be seen at those events, or people want to get interviewed. Yeah. And you don't want your coach to be that person on your team. You want to be a star player. So yeah, it works out perfect timing for them because if they lost Shane Hill, bring in Damien Cotter, and then bring in an import that the meat is scared of the media, then you could see another disaster crowd-wise in Sydney Kings' hands.
I still feel that the biggest addition of the season, the off-season that the Kings have done, was bringing in Damien Cotter as head coach. Because if you're going to bring in a rookie NBL coach, which is what the Kings have done ever since they've come back. I mean, Moose was a rookie head coach. Yeah. No, Shane Hill was a rookie. He wasn't really a rookie head coach, but he hadn't coached for a long time. But he was a rookie non-player coach. Yeah. But bringing Cotter in, who really does have a lot of experience at a lot of different levels. I mean, he was an assistant coach on the Sydney Kings. He's coached a lot of junior ranks. He's the head coach at the New South Wales Institute of Sport. He's coached with a lot of the national programs. He's the perfect guy to bring in. He's coached in Siebel to really run this team. He's got a seriously strong offensive system, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do.
I don't know if you've seen Josh Childress shoot before, but oh god, it's ugly. It's almost as bad as Josh Pace's last jump shot last last year, or it's almost as bad as a Sean Marion jump shot.
And there's one thing that I like. It's guys that they're going to shoot contested mid-range jump shots. You know, to win my heart, you know, just jack up heaps of those.